Welcome to the ThinkOne Academy. Today, we're going to learn how to put a flag on. Most of you have received your flag, your pole, your weights, your tape, your tip, but you don't know how to go about putting it on your flagpole. So that is what we're going to do in this episode. Back in 2009, I created a flagpole that was not bendable. And so we used thick grade of an aircraft aluminum. I really like the brushed aluminum just because it just feels good on the hands and it looks good aesthetically on the field and indoors. We created what we call a weight system. Most of you know what this looks like. This is what everybody's currently using. This is the new improved weight system. It does have a little bit of a maintenance to it. The tightening of the weight station pushes the O-ring out, which attaches itself to the inside of the tube, and the weights, which we could add as many as we want or take them off. I recommend always to use 2 of these weights on the very top of the pole, the part of the pole that's going to be covered with the flag. So we're going to show you a couple of ways of doing this. First of all, let's go ahead and go with the carriage bolt, which is something that looks like this. You don't want to put your carriage bolt and just leave it there. You're going to hear this a lot throughout your performances. Sometimes you even hear color guards doing really beautiful ballads and you hear these clanking noises. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to change the whole system. But since not everybody has those, currently we can show you how to still put your weights and secure them. Now the carriage bolts, depending on what your instructor wants, can vary from 1 inch all the way up until like 6 inch. But what we do want to do is make sure that we get that secure. So we're going to do what I call a cross top. And so it's going to look like this. So now the top looks like that. Then what you're going to do is you're going to go from the bottom and roll up to there. So now you're all set with that. So you don't have to worry about that anymore. So let's take a look at the flag. Most flags these days are what we call a curved rectangle, okay? And so we're going to be looking at the flag here. You see that? And then at the very top, you're gonna notice that it doesn't have a tail. At the very bottom, there's the tail. So that's gonna determine to us that that's the bottom of the flag. We're going to move our hand all the way down to here. You're gonna remember we're gonna put the bottom of the flag inside the pole first, so it doesn't end up upside down. So now we're going to put the flag over the tip. Most flags have a seam that they use to where they ironed it so that it's nice and flat. We want to keep that seam completely perpendicular to the pole so it doesn't get this kind of twisting on you and things like that. So the first thing I do is take I would say about maybe 2 fingers and start taping your flag to the pole here. You want to always put the first part of your tape on the actual fabric and just work your way up. I wouldn't be too stingy with the tape because you definitely don't want your flag to come off during the performance. So that part's taken care of. Now when we work towards, which is the middle of the pole, which is called the tab, you want to make sure that you're also stretching the fabric so you don't get all these wrinkles right there. So you want to put your first strip of tape on the fabric, hold on to it, and start working your way around it. So that takes care of that part. So as you can see, the seam where the pocket of the flag ends and the design starts, it looks like it's pretty perpendicular to the pole. So you should be able to see that there. And also, let's see where our tip is. See how the tip is all the way to the bottom? And so we did that correctly. Now let's talk about the tip. So the tips here, I recommend the rubber tips, streamlined. You can get these on my website at thinkone.co, or you can probably find these actually at Home Depot's. Go to the furniture tip area or crutch tip area of the store. Anyway, we've already put our tape. The flag is on. You could actually spin it, but what we want to do is really protect any kind of surface. The pole, you don't want to ruin your pole, so that's why we have these tips when you're practicing, like say on asphalt, and if we're inside in a gym floor, it protects the gym floors. So anyway, so we're going to put the tip on, and I even give it a little bit of a hit just to get that in there. So now you're pretty strong. And remember when we did the weight, we talked about that cross top again. We're gonna do the cross top again here. So basically you're just gonna put one strip of tape here, and you're gonna do another strip of tape here. So now you have your cross top, see that? And then you're gonna work your way from the bottom all the way up, and make sure you're covering the entire black so it's nice and pretty, and you're all good to go with that tip. Now you're absolutely ready for your rehearsal. Let's talk about flag etiquette. So you always want to walk around with your flag stripped. The reason being is because you can trip, you can get it snagged on a fence. You definitely don't want to rip your flag. The flags, you can't just go to a store and pick up flags. You have to have them made. So we want to take care of our equipment. The other thing is when we put our flags inside our flag bags for storage, we want to make sure that we're rolling all the flag fabric all on the pole. Take your time to do that. I know sometimes we're at the end of rehearsal and we just want to go home and we don't want to worry about that too much. But if you want your equipment to maintain itself and last a long time, we want to make sure that we're rolling our flags at all time. Okay, so that's kind of our first introduction to how to tape a flag on a pole, and now we're ready to have some fun. Let's talk about the ThinkOne weight system. So we have what we call a weight station, which is everything that's going to hold all the weights in. So this is placed inside the tube, inside the pole, and then with an Allen wrench you will tighten it so that the O-ring attaches itself to the inside of the pole. So since we're doing the top of the pole, I always like to more weight on the top of the pole than the bottom, because all of the fabric is on top and we want to use more weight to push the flag fabric around. So we're going to be using the two weights for the top. We've already done the bottom, which has only one weight in it. So we're going to screw these on, make sure they're super tight. You might want to, if you're doing this with your buddy or if you guys are instructors, really be aggressive at how tight you can tighten these. Because of the O-rings, it's not going to give you that clanking sound that you get from the carriage bolts. So this weight's ready to go, ready to be installed. So we're just going to put it in here, and we should be able to hear a little snap there. Now you're going to take your Allen wrench, and you're going to be holding on to the pole and the weight itself at the same time, so you can get a nice tight grip. I would go full grip with this, kind of like when you're catching a rifle. You want to have a really nice strong grip. So now that is pretty secure in there. The only thing with having a high precision piece inside your pole is that it's going to take some maintenance. So after a while, you'll start seeing that it's getting loose. You just go back in and retighten your weights. It doesn't happen a lot, but especially when you're beginners, you drop your flags a lot and learning how to do tosses and things like that. So you always want to maintain your equipment. If your equipment is maintained properly, you're going to have a really good time with learning all the techniques and choreography. So what I want to do with this, just to double secure it, I'm just going to put one line of tape right about there, and that will take care of your entire weight system. And so now we're going to put the flag on the pole, and we're going to use the same kind of technique that we did with the other one to put that on there. So now that's there. You put your tip on as we did last time, Go ahead and slam it into the ground. Make sure that you're not doing that like on your parents' wood floors or anything like that, or the schools. So same thing here. We're going to do the cross tops and just make this full part of the tip white as you come and make your way up to the top, and now you're all good to go. This time with the precision weights. So there you have it. Now you know how to put your flag on, and every time that we have new flags and we have a new part of the show, we're going to be doing this process over and over again. So for now, let's get started and learning some really cool techniques.